What has no reason to exist in 2021 and yet it does? The real reason is because these work through clearing houses. So I sell fly swatters online and I hook up with a clearing house. Whenever a client puts in an order for $10, that clearinghouse takes their own money and puts it in my account. When the money gets drawn from the buyer's account, it goes to the clearinghouse instead of me. I pay a surcharge of say 3% of each transaction to that clearinghouse. That clearinghouse's entire business model is: I make 3% per transaction. I have to make sure that there are not enough NSF/cancellations that I can't recoup that 3% back. So it takes a few days for them to verify that this isn't some mass scam that's going to drain that profit margin. Telephone/SMS network stacks, which can't tell you anything about where a call or message came from, allows source numbers to be easily spoofed, and provides no security features at all to block unwanted calls or texts. We already pay these companies enough for their shitty service. Get with the fucking program. Good news. This is coming to an end soon. Calls are starting to be cryptographically signed to ensure they can't be spoofed. Mail-in rebates. In the age of digital everything, it's ridiculous that these things are still around. I think it's to make it harder for people to actually get the rebate, but they can advertise the lower price of the item. There's a form, you need the receipt, have to get a stamp, envelope, and an expiration date that it's easy to miss. Then the company gets to not pay out. But yet it's BS. Sorry, it never arrived. You'll need to get another original receipt to reapply. I work for USPS. Went to request a day off and the form required carbon paper to copy. No amount of technology will cure government agencies of unnecessary red tape. Facts. The Army used to have forms come in printed bundles with carbon paper between them. Then they moved to a paperless system, where the forms were on the computer, and you had to print them. Multiple copies of them. And manually put carbon paper in between them. Having to call to make bill payments. I was about to say this. I just made the final payment on my car. For 5 years they have automatically withdrawn the payment, but for the final payment I either had to call or go into the bank. Yesterday I called and the lady said there is a $10 charge for doing it over the phone. So I went into the bank today, and all I did was stand there while the teller clicked a few buttons and it took the money from my checking to pay off the loan. Like, why did any of that need to happen? Just automatically withdraw the money like before. What makes it worse is the last payment was less than my normal payment. If I paid my car off early I had to mail in a check. So my $4 balance sat there for 8 months until my last bill was able to be paid online. Prepayment penalties on cars are annoying. I usually call and ask them to waive the payment. If they will not waive it, I ask what the minimum amount required is to avoid them automatically closing the account. I then pay the balance down to $1 greater and request monthly statements mailed to the house. Then I ask them again if they want to waive the payment because it is now more expensive to see it account than keep it open. I'd like to introduce you to r/malicious compliance. I think you'll get along great. I had a car financed through a credit union where they automatically withdrew the payments via electronic draft. At some point I generally wonder how many payments I have left since I knew I was close, only to realize that I'd already completed my term and was on month 4 of them still taking money out. I call up there and say, hey, why are you still taking money out when the car is paid for? And she said something along the lines of because I didn't call them to let them know. I was completely floored by all of this. At any rate, I'm really surprised at some of this. I work for a large auto finance company where the system we use will automatically calculate that last payment and includes the prorated interest for a true zero balance and can pay it pretty much however you'd want. It's always interesting to see how other companies do things compared to ours. Edit, grammar/spelling. Sprint did the same thing to me a few years ago. I had to actually tell them to stop charging me for my paid-off phone. Raised hell and got my money back, of course, but still, WTH. AT&T discontinued high-speed internet in my area and offered a different internet service option, claiming it would be just as fast if not faster. It's not, as they are the only provider in the area. I had no choice. I made the switch. Imagine my surprise when they continued billing me for the service they disconnected, took the box out of my home, and didn't even offer in my area anymore. Took nearly 5 months before they finally stopped sending me 2 bills. Or the fact that I have to go to my local gym to cancel the membership. Best of all, it's a chain. Like a full-on big brand chain. And when they closed the branch near my old place, they just automatically transferred me to the next closest branch. But I can't go to one close to my current place because I have to go to my home branch. Funny how the transfer is super easy and done electronically, but they can't cancel my membership at any branch. Edit, it's FIT4LESS in Canada. Gyms are some of the most notorious for being difficult to cancel. A lot of the chain places use a third-party billing service too, which makes it an even bigger headache to do it. And even still, a lot of the time after you cancel in person, you will still mysteriously see charges appear on your credit card. If they have an option to cancel by mail, send it via certified mail, return receipt requested. Hard to ignore something like that when there is legal proof of mailing. A gym near me said I had to print off a form at home and then mail it to their home office. Once their home office received the letter, they would then officially cancel my membership. I told the clerk I wasn't doing that and they could either cancel my membership or I would cancel my credit card they were billing from. Shocker, the manager was able to cancel the membership on site.